Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Muhammad Atif and this is the summary of today's lesson. Today we started lesson 2, unit 6, English student book, page number 82 and 83. As you know that this whole unit is all about myths and fables. So this lesson 2 is also about fables. So before we started the lesson, I displayed the lesson objectives and I discussed the lesson objectives with the class. These are the lesson objectives on your screen right now. First, listening. Listen to fables, listen and match. Then speaking activity. Talk about fables, talk about the moral of a fable. Reading, read for information. Then writing, complete sentences and answer the questions. Then critical thinking, use background knowledge, identify key ideas. After that, we discuss the vocabulary slide. These are the words that I choose for the students to understand before the lesson. So these words are grasshopper, tiny, store, starving, and beg. These are the words that I ask the students to learn before the lesson. After that, we discussed the opening question. I talked about fables. Okay, and I asked the students if they know any fable, and if they know any fable, then which animals are the main characters in the story, and what is it about. So they talked about some of the fables, in which one of the students talked about a fable related to uh, turtle and Scorpio, and it was about like the turtle helped Scorpio to cross the river, but in the middle of the river, the Scorpio started to bite the turtle because its nature is to bite. So in that case, the turtle shell is hard. So when he found that the Scorpio is trying to bite him, so then he take a dive and he drowned the Scorpio. So the main characters of this story was Scorpio and the turtle. So they talked about this story, and after that I asked them to read this story. And the reading strategy we applied in it is finding specific information in the text. Ask yourself what you want to find out before you read a text. So I asked the students to think about some questions that they can think of with the help of these pictures. So they made two questions. One of the questions are One of them is that why this grasshopper is playing a violin and why this ant is carrying a leaf. So to find the answer, we read the story, and then we found the answer that this grasshopper is trying to enjoy his free time today, and he's not worried about the future, the hard times that he could face in the future. And this ant is doing some hard work, and it is trying to take food for her. So after the lesson, after this story, uh, we found the answers, and I asked the students to note down the answers for their questions. And then we asked activity 4, and we discussed activity 4, and we choose the suitable moral. Moral means the result, the learning of that story. And the moral is it is best to plan for the future. Then I displayed the answer as well. Here is the answer for activity 4. It is best to plan for the future. After that, we discussed the activity 5. Activity 5 is listening. We have two more fables, two more stories, A and B, and we have to choose the suitable title for both of these stories. We have two titles here. So we discussed these pictures, and I also included the track
Track 33.
1. Once there was a young shepherd boy who looked after his sheep at the bottom of a mountain near a dark forest. It was lonely for him all day, so he thought of a plan so he could get some friends to talk to. One day, he rushed down towards the village shouting, "Wolf! Wolf!" and the villagers came out to meet him. This made the boy happy. So, a few days afterwards, he tried the same trick again. Once again, the villagers came to his help. But shortly after this, a wolf came out from the forest and began to walk around the sheep. The boy cried out, "Wolf! Wolf!" louder than before. But this time the villagers, who had been fooled twice before, thought the boy wasn't telling the truth again, and nobody came to help him. So the wolf made a good meal of the boy's flock of sheep. When the boy complained, the wise man of the village said, "A liar will not be believed, even when he speaks the truth."
2.
One day, while Matt Jamble was out fishing, a large wave smashed into his boat. He hit his head and fell into the water. When he woke up, 2 turtles were helping him. The larger one helped him up to the surface of the water by swimming under him, and the smaller one bit him gently from time to time to keep him awake. Together, the turtles brought him to the shore near his village. When Matt Jamble told his friends what had happened, none of them believed him. He just smiled to himself. A few weeks later, a terrible storm came to the island. When the rain stopped, Matt Jamble went out to look at the sea. The beach was covered with turtles. There were turtles from one end of the beach to the other. They were very large and had strange markings on their grey shells. A little boy came running up the beach to Matt Jamble. "Matt Jamble," he said, "look at the turtles. What kind are they? What are they doing? Where did they come from?" Matt Jamble smiled. "You ask so many questions," he said. "These are leatherback turtles. They don't usually lay their eggs here, but perhaps because of the storm, they have come here instead. Just think, they have come all the way from the Indian Ocean." Everyone in the village came to watch the turtles lay their eggs. The turtles dug holes in the sand and laid their eggs in the holes. "Why don't we dance on the turtles for good luck?" said one village woman. Matt Jamble laughed. "That's just a myth," he said. "Also, you might hurt the turtles." Soon the turtles had finished laying their eggs. They covered the eggs with sand and then went back into the sea. One good turn deserves another.
So, so that was the track 33, and after that we matched these title with the stories. I'm going to display the answers as well. So story A title 1 and story 2 title B. Sorry, it's opposite. Story A title 1 and story B title 2. After that we discussed the activity 6, in which we have to match these morals with these stories. So be responsible is for story A, and be honest is also with story A, and be kind goes with story B. And then we talked about prefixes, and I explained the students about prefixes, that prefixes are the group of letters that we add before the words, in the beginning of the words, to change their meanings. And we have these negative prefixes to make the negative meanings. So un, ir, and dis. Then I asked them to complete these words, these sentences with the suitable prefixes. So student completed, and then I displayed the answers as well. So this is the first answer for activity 6. And this is the answer for activity 7. Irresponsible, unkind, and dishonest. Then we have some more adjectives, and we have to use the same 3 prefixes with these words to make them negative. So then I displayed the answers as well after the discussion with the class. So here are the answers for activity 8, and that's all for today's lesson. Take care and goodbye.